In this video, we will be making a phylogenetic tree from Dessertish foods. So I have all these desserts and I don't know how to organize them. I know I want to organize them in ways they are similar to each other and group the most similar items together as we would do in a phylogenetic tree. So, to make this easier, let's look at some of the differences and similarities we see in each of our types of foods and try to come up with ways we can organize or categorize them to create our tree using a table. One of the most obvious is that donuts seem to be the only fried dessert while all the others are baked. Cake filling items consist of muffins and cupcakes, while fruit filling items consist of pies and tarts. Flat cakes are crepes, pancakes, and waffles, and desserts with crust are pies, tarts, and cheesecakes. Seeing this, we can start to make associations and group those with similar phenotypes together. So I have grouped all my desserts, or more scientifically, my OTUs, based on their characteristics and have come up with my phylogenetic tree. The OTU, or Operational Taxonomic Unit, is essentially each of the items, in this case the desserts that we are looking at in this example. For example, a cheesecake would be one of our OTUs. We examine the differences in OTUs and their phenotypes in this problem. This tree is a rooted tree, meaning it can show us an ancestral root. Notice how the tree has branches and can separate into different units. This is referred to as cladogenesis. We see this when one item branches off into two separate items. Anagenesis, however, is when one species just evolves over time but still stays as the same species. This could be like if a donut continued to evolve but it was still a donut if we were looking at items. All of these desserts start off with the same phenotype of radial symmetry. Donuts are the outgroup because they are fried items, while the rest of these are baked items. The outgroup is one which is still related to the items, but it falls outside the clades. Notice how this is kind of like an isolated item when comparing them to the rest, which is how I like to think of an outgroup. Muffins and cupcakes also have radial symmetry and both contain a cake or cake-like filling that is dense. Pancakes, waffles, and crepes are considered flat cakes. However, pancakes and crepes and waffles all use the same ingredients, but I know they differ in consistency. Pancakes and waffles are very thick in size, while crepes are very thin. Cheesecake, pies, and tarts all have a crust, while pies and tarts typically have a fruit filling, while cheesecake has a cream cheese filling. Some other structural characteristics of our phylogenetic tree to notice is that it has internal nodes. These nodes are significant because they show us divergence, or when a group splits into two groups. Here's a more normal view of our phylogenetic tree of items. Using some of the terms we learned on the last slide, let's try to answer some questions about our tree. What would be the most recent common ancestor for the pink arrows node? Well, if we look at all the items connected to that node, it would be the crepe, pancake, waffle, cheesecake, pies, and tarts. An easy way to determine the most recent common ancestor is to think of the node as an attachment point and look at what attaches to that point. What about the blue arrows node? For this node, all of our OTUs would be the most recent common ancestor. What about the yellow arrows node? For this node, it would be essentially everything besides the donut.
Yeah, you got that yummy, yum, that yummy, yum, that yummy, yummy.